we go. Those same settings now for an account who's logged onto this machine. Now again, this machine right now happens to be an XP virtual machine. That could be a VDI desktop as well. The idea is that you want that single gold image. Any user connects to that base single image, gets their environment applied. And again, so right now I'm just kind of focusing on the policy side. Calculators needed by the accountant, that pops open. We're going to see, I won't take you through all of them, but you can have a different set of map drives now, one that goes to the finance share, and so forth. Again, no one's going, wow, now, because you're doing that now in login scripts and policies, so hold on, the wow will come in how we do it. The other aspect we mentioned is the profile part of that, of what you're used to. In addition to policy, we want to capture your profile settings. So things like you might do with an application. So if I were to open up, even something simple like Notepad, I'm going to tweak. Sorry, try to tweak. Even a customized setting. This is normally part of your profile. Boom, toss that away. Okay? Now, let's say roaming profile. If I went to another XP machine, everyone's going to expect that same setting, same desktop to follow. How about a Windows 7 machine? Because we're all going to be migrating soon, right? No. Probably not. So we have a V1 versus V2 profiles. So I have actually already logged in. Okay, so I have already logged in. I can log off if you want. But let's just try opening up Notepad. Also, did I log off? I didn't log off either. Right? So again, so far, you're not seeing anything that couldn't be done before until now. Right? So even with roaming profiles, log off. Now my settings go back up to a centralized point. Go to a new server, XP, I would log on and expect it to follow me. Go to Windows 7, I wouldn't. And I also would have expected I would have had to log off. So that's the two things we're really focusing on. I have more samples if you want, but let me show you the ins and outs of how we get that happen. But that's it. How do I migrate? How do I move from a Zen desktop to a just regular Citrix published desktop, or even just an app that could be published locally, could be streaming app, could be a virtual application, App V. Okay? So I have that example too, so I'll come back and do Word afterwards. You can take it from a local Word. Let's do it right. So there's 7. So back to the XP machine. I have Office loaded here, and I do have Word, which is a local app. So notice here's my accountant, wants my initials. Obviously that's the first time launching Word. Again, local application. Just to quickly, oops. Come back to left. Change anything else, please? Well, at least lets me close it. All right, let me come back to that one. I'll show you that one next. The idea would be I'll close it and then launch it virtually, and hopefully those settings will come. But I'll come right back. So how does this happen? So let me jump back into our server. We have actually 3 products, and the one we're focusing on right now is called Environment Manager. And it's web-based with a SQL backend and a console. So 3-tier architecture. What we're doing is we're setting up 2 things, policies, and we're saving your personalizations. Policies are going to be in a configuration file in XML that we deploy out to the clients. The personalization information is going into a database. So let me first take you through the console here. You'll notice 2 things. I mentioned you could use this to replace login scripts and a lot of your group policies. So the way we do that is, well, you say, well, I can do that already. We're going to give you a few more options. So the first thing we do is we have what's called triggers. The idea of a trigger is when can these actions happen? So login scripts can happen either start up and shut down if they're computer-based, log on and log off if they're user-based. But you'll notice here under computer we have start up and shut down, but also process started and process stopped. So that just means if you have a specific, and I just have a quick example here. There's my office finally coming to life. So while I'm there, I'm just going to go in and just make it something recognizable. Here's my silver. Close it. And then I am going to close Word. So for our settings to be captured, you do have to close the application. And then now what I was going to show you was what? Oh, WordPad. So here I open up, I showed you my map drives earlier. So we have one for finance. If I open up WordPad, notice behind the scenes, there's a miscellaneous folder. Right? But the idea is it's a map drive on demand. Right? How many people have worked on login scripts at some point in your life? Well, like it, right? So a couple of problems with that is, one, you're planning probably at startup or logon for any of the 500 combinations of applications or tasks that that user may need at that time. Right? What we're able to do is, because of these triggers, we can say, this app needs this map drive. Right? Why map it and waste those resources starting up if I don't need it? So this trigger capability allows you to be more targeted, right? So just in time rather than just in case. And then I can also have it that when that process stops, it goes away. So triggers make our tool, I think, pretty powerful beyond what you get with group policies and login scripts, because they start some specific times. And if you look at the user sessions, you're going to see log off, log on, but also session connected, session disconnected, session reconnected, right? As well as process started, process stopped. So if someone comes in, they launch a Citrix session, they close the laptop, run somewhere else, reconnect, we can then trigger these commands to reinforce a policy at that time. So that's one thing I think makes this quite special, is the trigger capability. The other aspect we have in here are called actions. So what can we do? And again, login scripts can be quite powerful, but they have a couple of problems usually. One is, again, to mention know the whys, right? They run sequentially. So if you have 10,000 lines of code, they're running one row at a time. And you have to wait for each step to finish before they continue on. Also, people forget why they did something. Why was this if statement there? What was I trying to resolve? So you have a lot of this convoluted mess in there that you then leave, and now your company is desperate to get you back. So we have actions here, and what we're trying to do is make it fairly usable interface, where they're predefined actions where we're just supplying properties. So for example here, I have some at login, and some of the actions might be setting an environment variable. Right? Well, how did I do that? Did I write code? Nope. I just come up to my list of actions, and you'll see I have environment variables. If I have a registry key that I need to add, delete, or modify, we just give you those templates where you just choose an item. Yeah, I want to create a key. Okay. Give me the properties that are required, and if you're really nice, it'd be nice if you go to the descriptions in general and fill in a little documentation along the way. But you don't need that, because you'll be able to come back in a GUI and see that. We even have a kind of an all-purpose kind of general task called the Quick Start Setup Wizard. Things like locking down the start menu and things like that. It's things that common tasks that you'd already be trying to do. We're just going to give you a wizard that'll do them all by just checking a box. File and folder tasks, copy files, delete files. Drivers and printers that you saw demoed, ODBC connections. Now, keep in mind, you're saying, great, I can do this in a login script. You have all these tasks. The other nice factor we have here is conditions. Do it for everybody, or just certain people, or just when a certain process starts. So even you'll notice at the top of this list here, shaded green, I don't know if that reflects in the thing, but the highlighted part there, we have conditions which would specify should this run? So in this case, it's for a group called AS Managed. But it could be a computer group. Just to right-click here. Conditions, it can be based off a computer, just the name, the OU membership of the computer, the IP address, the IP range, MAC address. Right? What is the condition to run these steps? And there's a whole workflow. You'll notice here I have set up environment. So this is what we call a node. But that starts off. That runs first. Okay? Now inside that, I only had one task, but that'll run. Once that is finished executing, now notice I have two nodes that are of equal level. Right? They run simultaneously.